Good evening, all. I'd like to call this meeting to order and welcome everyone here tonight. And at this time, can we have roll call, Mrs. Byram?
Miss Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Hopkins.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Miss Page.
Here.
Miss Quintern. Madam Chair, the clerk certifies the presence of a quorum.
Thank you. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Dr. Hornick, is there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. We have two additions this evening under number 5, Superintendent's Reports and Recommendations, C and D for a local special education annual plan, and a quick update on the budget with new developments that came out Friday.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to accept the agenda with these additions?
I so moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion. Approval of the agenda. Okay, down to the consent agenda, minutes and financial reports. Can I have a motion to accept these?
Yes, ma'am. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the January 23rd, 2023 meeting, the March 2023 financial report, and the monthly school nutrition report.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor by saying aye? Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. Monthly operating bills.
And Madam Chair, I had those also, and I make a motion we approve the monthly operating bills in the sum of $5,959,921.57.
Thank you. I reviewed those as well, so I will second that motion. All in favor by saying aye? Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. We are now down to recognitions. Dr. Hornick?
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, at this time, invite Dr. Anderson and Dr. Honaker to come over. We have art contests and art students to recognize this evening. And so if we can get Judy and Renee. Or Judy.
And if we could have each of the art teachers come over, please.
That's okay.
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members and Dr. Hornick. Every year at this time, we honor our art students and their teachers for the excellent work that they do all year. And at this time, we are going to recognize those who submitted artwork for the Virginia School Board Association's artwork contest that they hold every year. What we do is each school submits artwork from the various grade levels, and they come up here and we have a judging, and we choose winners in 2 categories, a judge's choice and a people's choice. So tonight we're going to be recognizing first the People's Choice Awards, 1 for each grade level. And then we are also going to talk about the judge's choice. And those 3 art pieces that are chosen as the judge's choice then move on to the Virginia School Board Association art show. And I'm not sure how many counties are, it's all the counties in our region. Mm-hmm. And then our students compete in an art show there for the winner. And if we are chosen either first, second, or third place in the Virginia School Board Association art show, then the winners, their artwork is displayed throughout the state of Virginia for the next school year. So at this time, we're going to let the art teachers tell you a little bit about their students and the submissions.
Good evening. Unfortunately, Ms. McGinnis from Orange Elementary was unable to be here tonight, so I would like to recognize their artist. Kara Sparks could come forward. So Kara's submission was Northern Lights, and Ms. McGinnis wanted us to share a few words about Kara as an artist. Kara is an extremely artistic young lady who is always engaged in class and enjoys any assignment she is given in art class. She is an exemplary student in her class and is not only creative, but has excellent craftsmanship in her work. She's an absolute joy to teach, and I am thankful that I've been her art teacher this school year. Congratulations, Kara, you deserve it.
Hi, I'm Lauren Pack from Gordon Barber. Tyler, come on up. So this is Tyler's beautiful art. So Tyler is my favorite type of student. He's a little bit naturally talented, which is a great start. He comes to class wanting to learn, wanting to try new things. He has a great attitude. Around 4th grade, we have a lot of students who are, I can't do it. But Tyler's always like, you know what? I think I can do it. I'm going to do it. So he always comes in, learns whatever is going on in the classroom, and then takes it to another level, tries something new, experiments a little bit, adds his own kind of style to it. So this is beautiful work, some fall leaves. His colors are fantastic, turned out great. Good job, Tyler.
Russell Davidson, could you come up here, please? You're right down here with you. Okay, so Russell Davidson. You know, I have the unique job of guarding the doors in the morning in the front lobby and greeting all the children as they come in. And the first time I saw Russell come in, he was carrying this 64-ounce water bottle. And just like most people don't recognize me without my art hat on, you know, they don't recognize Russell without his water bottle. But you know what I've learned since knowing Russell all this year is that he's got a heart just as big as that water bottle. And he's what we call a no muss, no fuss kind of artist and kind of a no muss, no fuss little boy. You know what? Come here a second. You're the right size. I'm going to do this. All right. There we go. Okay, so they can see you. All right? And when I reminded him this afternoon at lunch about coming tonight, and he goes, oh, what are they doing? What are they going to, do for me? And I said, Russell, this is about you tonight, okay? You did a great job. He did a picture of a sunflower. We were studying Vincent van Gogh and how Vincent loved the color yellow because he thought it was a good warm color for love, and he gave people paintings of sunflowers that he loved. And so I'm sure his mom holds that sunflower in a very special place. So congratulations, Russell. Great job, and here's your certificate. Oh, you don't need that. Okay, there you go. You may be a little guy, Russell, but we look up to you.
Hi, Axel. Will you come join me? I have the privilege of talking about Axel Pate. He is a 4th grader at our school, and he is just an excellent artist. He draws all the time. He always comes in and has an idea of what he wants to do. Especially like his drawings of people. I told his family once, I said, he could be a professional artist. He could be like a graphic designer of graphic novels or comic books. And they said, oh, he's already drawing those. And in fact, I was just talking to his family, and he has about 800 in various states at home. So he is just the kind of student that you love to have. He works hard. He's just the nicest person. Always encourages his classmates when they get, oh, Axel, that's so good, I can't do it. And he's like, oh, just try. So he just is a wonderful artist, and he did this drawing with the shading, and he just told me shading is really fun. So thank you, Axel. You're going to go up.
Can I get Zachary? Zachary Corvia. Over here, Zach. Hey, buddy. This is Zachary, and he is a first grader at Unionville Elementary School, and you can see his artwork up there. It's the snowman and the cardinal, and I was challenging my students to really fill the space of their paper and then give some expression to the faces of that snowman and cardinal. And I tell you, we had this on the bulletin board, and it was the talk of the school. I mean, his little face of that cardinal, we were all wondering, what is he saying? What is he thinking? So good job, Zachary. And here is your certificate. Then I also have Ava Hutchins. So this is Ava Hutchins, and she's a 5th grader at Lightfoot Elementary School. And we were working on a piece called A Winter Night. And the students were asked to do a picture in the foreground and then create, like a silhouette, in the foreground of their choice, and then create a background using tints and shades. And Ava has a passion for horses. She is always drawing horses in class, and we just love to look at them. And I'm so glad that you chose a horse for this piece and followed your passion. There you go. Oops.
Okay, I'm here for Miss Reeves from Prospect Heights. She regrets that she could not be here today, but I'm not sure if Lorelei Fletcher is here or not. Lorelei, are you here? Okay, well, we'll talk about it anyhow. It's called Watching, and the intricacy of this is incredible. Lorelei created a wonderful charcoal image of the eye that shows her ability to create realistic human features and shows her understanding of shading and light. Ms. Reeves says charcoal is a medium that requires you to envision the light in the dark areas of your objects before you start applying it. She believes that Lorelei did an amazing job at the end in applying charcoal and blending it out just perfectly, and boy, that's so realistic. So, Lorelei, thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm here on behalf of Ms. Bravo, the art teacher at Locust Grove Middle School. Is Emma Mills with us this evening? I'm not sure Emma was able to be here tonight. Ms. Bravo shares that Emma is an incredibly kind and creative girl. Her work, not only on this project, but also on all of the other things that she does, shows dedication to fine details, craftsmanship, and originality. Her patience and persistence have strengthened her ability to execute her ideas and prepare her to approach new challenges with a creative problem-solving mindset. So we'd just like to recognize Emma Mills, and we will make sure that she's recognized at school. Thank you.
All right, my name is Jamie Howie, and I'm here tonight to recognize first Mikkel Labrum So come on over, Mikkel. You've got some great support here tonight. So Mikkel Labrum is the talented senior you see here before you, who created the linoleum block print titled Strangers. She created this work of art around the theme of identity and the interaction of relationships. Her attention to pattern, rhythm, and detail are evident in her artwork. Some of her other pieces were recently on display at the 2023 Fine Arts Festival hosted at Orange County High School. Mikkel is a well-rounded creative individual. Not only is she a creative visual artist, but she is also active in choir and band. I like to call her a modern Renaissance woman. I just thought of that today. I look forward to seeing her talent grow and develop as she goes on to pursue a future career in the arts after graduation.
So let's have one more round of applause for all of our People's Choice winners. So the next category that we're going to recognize tonight is our Judge's Choice. And these three students' artwork was sent forward to the Virginia School Board Associations for their contest with all the other school divisions. I will mention that as you leave tonight, you'll notice all of the winners that are being represented here tonight. You'll see that their artwork is framed and it will be here for a year, and then you can pick it up if a parent wants to come and get it. But we keep it up here for everyone to enjoy. We have them framed. So they look wonderful, so make sure you take a look at them before you leave. So next we'll have Locust Grove Primary.
Okay, is this the one? I know, do you have it? Hello again. We're all here because we support the arts and education. They're so important. And you know, if you take that word arts and you rearrange the letters, you get the word star. And you notice I am wearing Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night tie tonight because there are a lot of stars here tonight. And one of them is my little friend here, Annalie Allen. Can you come up here, Annalie? When I think of a talented artist and hard worker, I think of Annalie. She would have been here last year, except for the fact that I sent a piece of her art home with her to show her parents first to send into a show, and when she brought it back, unfortunately, it got a little messed up in the backpack or something, so she didn't get a chance to be in that, but that was good because she got this piece in, and it took this wonderful honor. So she did an underwater resist, a watercolor resist, and that means we put like an oil pastel or crayon down first, and then we go over it with a wash of watercolor, and the oil pastel resists the water. So everywhere you see blue is where just the paper was showing. But Annalie is a little girl that you just can't resist. She's just a beautiful artist and a wonderful student. I know we say it all the time, but I would just love to have a classroom full of students like Annalie and like Russell. So Annalie, congratulations. You're a wonderful artist, and you have great things to come.
All right. So this work of art that you see here was created by Mackenzie Mooberry. Mackenzie has a natural gift for creativity and art. Having had her as a student in all three levels of visual art offered at the high school, I have observed her skills improve and expand over the years. And she's only a junior, and she's currently enrolled in my advanced art class. Her artwork that you see on display tonight is from a project in which students first learned about the psychology of color and were then asked to paint a monochromatic self-portrait using a hue that matched a part of their personality. Her final product is clearly captivating. Mackenzie recently had other paintings and pieces that were on display at the 2023 Fine Arts Festival as well. She is a self-motivated student with a bright future ahead of her.
Okay, so is Leah Lamb here? Leah. Okay, so Leah, I thought this was incredible. When I saw this one, I've never had a migraine, but I mean, my goodness. Okay, thank the Lord. Leah created a unique and outstanding white pencil drawing of a skull with beautiful ornate flowers emerging from it. Leah captures the beauty of the skull and the flowers through shading and details. Leah creates images that capture your eyes and has shown growth in skill over the last 2 years. She continues to stun me, meaning our art teacher and me as well, to be quite honest, and her classmates and her talent in the art room. It's breathtaking, to be quite honest with you. So, congratulations.
And I would like to state that we left Leah's for last because Leah's actually earned the first place for middle school in the VSBA regional competition. So hers will be on display throughout Virginia region for government offices for a year. But that one actually won. So Orange County is a winner. So double congratulations to Leah.
Well, I'd like to say it's always amazing to see what talent we have in our students like this. But what's also important, I think, to recognize is these teachers, because you have to have a connection and the ability to reach these kids and encourage them to express themselves through the arts like this. And it's always very refreshing to see. So I thank you again, and I say let's give those teachers a round of applause as well. Okay. At this time, we're down to public comment. So what I will do is I will recess for a few minutes. So if there are any parents who are wanting to grab the little ones and escape before we get into some business, you can, and then we'll reconvene just a few minutes, okay? time, I will call the meeting back to order, and I will open public comment. And Mrs. Byram, do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
Yes, ma'am. And what I will do is, as in the past, I will call up 3 at a time so that we can just move along. So the first 3 speakers are Ryan Markey, Laura Daniel, and Christina Holt. Ryan Markey?
That'd be him.
Okay, he's first.
Okay.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Ryan Markey. I'm a lifelong citizen here of Orange County. I grew up in this school system. This building that we're in right now is the Prospect Heights that I went to. And my parents, Rick and Roxy Markey, their neighbor and friend was Judy Carter, longtime standing member of the school board. I'm here to talk tonight as a parent of a child who's a junior in the high school, who is a former student of Tommy Doss. Now, I don't have to tell anyone here the accolades and the awards and the honors that Mr. Doss has won, that these kids have won under the teaching and mentorship of Mr. Doss. We all already know that. And I don't have to tell you guys the awards that Mr. Doss himself has won, because you're the ones that gave those to him. What I will say, talk a little bit personally here, is that for the past couple of years, my family has gone through some tragedies that no family should ever have to see. And Mr. Doss was there to see my kid through all of that. Mr. Doss has been a great mentor, and he's quite frankly been a great friend of these kids. He is probably the finest teacher that I could think of. And the other day, my son says to me that Mr. Doss has a work ethic like no other human being he has ever met. And that includes me. And I'm an EMT who's used to 16-hour shifts. So I don't know what Mr. Doss did to get what he got, but if it wasn't for anything illegal or inappropriate, I think you made a really big mistake. Probably the biggest that this school board has ever made in my 41 years living here. I also want to address how it was handled. Mr. Jones, you have children in school. I'd like to ask you, how would you feel if their principal came into their room and said to them, hey, this teacher that you've come to know, come to admire, come to respect, frankly love, no longer with the school system. And if you have any questions, we don't discuss personnel issues. And with your kids crying and being visibly upset, he about faces and walks out. How would that make you feel? Makes me feel pretty bad, because that's what happened to my kid. That's what Mr. Palmieri did with our children. Didn't feel too good. Mr. Doss has done a lot for a lot of these kids, and I don't think there's a parent or kid here that wouldn't say the same. So what I'm going to ask tonight, please do right by these kids. Please give them back their friend. Thank you.
Good evening. Tonight I'm here speaking in regards to the request of the lack of advanced math classes at the middle school level and about the proposed change to the high school schedule. First and foremost, this should have been discussed with the public, with public comment. In the past, I know Mr. Hopkins has said that the people that need to know will know. Well, we, the people, need to know because you serve the people who have voted you in. It's your job sitting up there to serve the people and to do what's best for kids. Over the last several years, there's been a decrease in the amount of algebra and geometry classes offered at the middle school. I can only speak in numbers at the Locust Grove Middle School because my FOIA request for the numbers for both middle schools and the high school came back with an estimate of $450, just so I can stand up here and provide you numbers to back what I'm saying. But instead, we'll go by what I know. Locust Grove Middle School is down to one algebra class with 35 students in it. 35. No other teacher. 35. There's one geometry class with 3 students in it being taught virtually. Now, between this, the lack of advanced math classes, and then the proposed change to make high school classes year-round on an AB schedule, how are our kids going to be able to reach calculus? It's going to be impossible, especially when you eliminate it. The other thing that this county is failing is that all 8th graders, per Virginia code, all 8th graders are eligible to take algebra, but that wasn't offered. Frankly, it was only offered to 29 8th graders. There were 4 students that moved into the county, and there are 2 7th graders. That's it. There are more kids capable of being in that algebra class, but were denied the opportunity. So that's what I meant when I said you were dumbing down kids. You have kids that are capable, fully capable, of performing at a level that you guys have denied access to that kid to take that class. That's what I mean. You are not allowing kids to reach their full potential. Now, I know Mr. Hopkins and I have gone round and round before about the fact that the Virginia Department of Education has stated stuff. In all of my conversations with them, they have stated in no way, shape, or form are they denying kids advanced classes or accelerated classes, but yet that's what the county wants to do. Again, tell me, how are kids going to reach calculus? How are kids going to be able to take more than one class? What about the kids that fail? I know you guys are trying to reach out for those kids that are failing, but what about these gifted kids that you are going to lose in the process? And it's not just about gifted kids, it's about the average kids that are capable that you are not giving the opportunity. Orange should be the fullest extent. Thank you.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet. This is to go on with Mr. Doss. It's more than just Mr. Doss, what's going on. If you go into the high school, and I ask you all to do so, maybe not announced, just go in, walk around, feel the atmosphere of what's going on in the school. You can cut it with a knife. It's very, very tense over there. There are teachers and staff that are walking on eggshells, that literally will look over their shoulder to see who's standing around before they say anything. Does that sound like a place that you want to work? And if they feel like that, how do you think the students feel? That's not what I want my son or any of the other students to go through. They need to be taught not go through drama. And they're going through drama. As adults, we need to set the example. And I think we need to do better. Go in, talk to the students, talk to the staff. See what we can do to do things better. Because going in and saying your teacher is no longer employed here or no longer here and walking out and not discussing it any further, that hurts them. That's not what they need. They need to focus on their studies, not the drama. That's what they need. Thank you.
The next 3 speakers are Christine Freshwater, Mary Garner, and Alan Daniel.
Good evening. My name is Christine Freshwater, and I have had a child in Orange County High School Orange County for 17 years. My oldest is 22. The music education program here was pretty much built by Mr. Doss, and it has flourished. My oldest and now my youngest. My oldest is about to graduate from Shenandoah University in music education because of Mr. Doss. He originally wanted to be a doctor when he entered high school in the 8th grade. Was taking band classes like crazy. The minute he entered band, he wanted to do marching band, he wanted to do drumline. We literally never stopped the music. And it was maybe halfway through his 8th grade year, he says, Mom, I don't care about the money. I don't want to go through 20 years of school. I want to go with my passion, and I want to be a music educator. And so he is almost there, and we are very, very proud of him. And like I said, we would not be in this position without Mr. Doss. My youngest is a 7th grader at Locust Grove Middle School who has been drugged to every competition that Zach ever went to. He has grown up to love the arts. We went to Ohio for World Percussion International, and he was just in love with it. He actually was around to see MJ perform and wanted to be a drummer just like MJ and her partner Corey, and he has followed suit. And he was invited to be in the marching band and drumline as a 7th grader, a 12-year-old. And I wanted to read something really quick. He would probably kill me, but he wrote a letter. And this is from his heart, and I just cannot express enough how much we love Mr. Doss. He says, Hi, I'm a 7th grader at Locust Grove Middle School and participated in both marching band, and now I'm in the drum line with the high school. I would like to say that Mr. Doss is needed in the Orange County band program and is important to what I love to do. I'm a big fan of band and indoor drumline and was very excited to join when I could. I'm up for the challenge, and without Mr. Doss, I wouldn't be challenged. The amount of work Mr. Doss puts into us and band is astonishing. I need Mr. Doss in my life to do what I want to do, and others love him too. We are all humans, and I don't think it is a fair punishment. It would be too big of a loss to just let Mr. Doss go, and honestly, what I want to do in college could be affected by this. I want to do WGI drumline in college, and the only reason I'm where I'm at is because of Mr. Doss and band. My life was changed by Mr. Doss, and I don't want him to leave. Band has always and will always be a huge family. And would everybody that's here for Mr. Doss please stand up? Show this man how much we love him. Thank you.
Hi, how are you? Thank you all for hearing me. Can y'all hear me okay? Okay, sounds good. All right, so my name's MJ. It's Mary Dawson. People call me MJ. I've known Mr. Doss since I was an 8th grader. You know, I moved here. I wasn't born and raised in this county. I moved here about halfway through middle school. As soon as I came into Mr. Doss's band class, I immediately recognized the standard, the devotion, and the passion that this man had, not just for the program, but for the kids as well. And in more ways than just drumming or just music. As you heard earlier from Ms. Freshwater, you know, a lot of kids look up to us. A lot of kids look up to not just the music, but also the work ethic. Mr. Doss teaches more than just how to stay on beat. He teaches you how to carry yourself as a person, how to interact with others, what it means, like what teamwork means, what it means to build something and be a part of something greater than yourself. I genuinely fear, I graduated in 2019, it's been some time now, but I genuinely fear that the experience that I had won't be available to these kids with Mr. Doss being gone. Now, I'm sure you could find a band director who knows the music things, sure, but the work ethic and the devotion to this community and these children can't be replaced just as easily. It can't be replaced with anyone with a master's degree or anyone with a PhD. I had a horrible accident a year and a half ago, and I bring that up because I've been in a tough space ever since then, recovering mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and Mr. Doss reached out to me this past November, and he offered me the opportunity to come and be the drumline instructor and work with the kids one-on-one. I worked with Caleb, Ms. Freshwater's son, and I actually marched with Zachary, her oldest son that she mentioned, who's going to Shenandoah now. And, excuse me. So he offered me this position, and I came in under the expectation that we would now develop a mentor-mentee relationship that would go on, hopefully, for years to come. Well, now with this happening, I'm unsure of my own future, let alone the children. And at the end of the day, education should be about the children. It's not about the adults. It's not about who feels good doing what, or who feels good saying what, or who feels good being in power. It's about the children, the kids that are here going to school to learn, to build something with one another, to be a part of this family. And every single time I think of this position, yeah, it's a shame that I won't have the teacher, the friend, the mentor that I hoped to have and look up to, but I just keep coming back to these poor kids who have been just absolutely distraught and broken from what's happened. And I think it's a great suggestion for you to walk into that school, go into the program, and just sit there. Just see what it feels like. Just watch the kids' faces. You know, when Mr. Doss left, I was the acting drumline director. I got thrown into what felt like an impossible position. I was also told, man you worked with for 9 years is gone. Don't expect anything else from him. The principal left, and I was left with 30 kids and a drum line to run. And I did what Mr. Doss taught me to do, which was pull together, depend on one another, work hard, do your best. The score, the money, the paper will come later. So I'm asking you to do the same thing. Don't worry about the paper. As long as it's not illegal or inappropriate. Just bring that man back for these kids, not for me or not for you, but for these kids, because that's who it matters for at the end of the day. Thank you.
Good evening, Superintendent and school board members. Sounds like we have a few issues at the high school. But I wanted to address some concerns that I have after hearing about the proposed schedule changes at the high school. It has came to my attention the high school will be dropping from the semester-long schedule and we'll start transitioning to an all-year schedule with AB days. I am not sure what concerns me more, the fact that the public has not been notified of this change, or the plan is still moving forward despite the fact that many of the teachers and other community members have spoken in opposition of this as well. In the year-long schedule, if a student fails a course, they are forced into summer school and retaking classes next year. With the current schedule, a student can fail a class and fail in the fall and retake it in the spring. That is a huge benefit for the current scheduling. Also, since the middle schools are waiting to offer algebra, the highest math an Orange County student can obtain with the year-long schedule would be pre-calculus, given Algebra 1 in 8th grade, Geometry in 9th, Algebra 2 in 10th, Trigonometry in 11th, and pre-calc senior year. However, the signal, intentional or unintentionally, that is being sent is that pre-calculus is the best that OC can offer. Meanwhile, other schools in Virginia, our college-bound students are competing against, are able to take calculus and even discrete mathematics, such as at Loudoun. And on the admission page for Caltech, it requires 4 years of math, one of which it has to be a calculus class. And they also want physics class and prefer that to be a calculus-based class. But you can't take calculus-based physics until you have taken calculus math class. How can our students compete when cannot even get into those classes required to apply to a college such as Caltech? They can't. This schedule will fail our students and hold them back from reaching their fullest potential, which, just to remind you, the current vision statement is to improve the future by empowering our students to value learning, reach their full potential, and achieve their goals. But I don't see how OCHS will live up to that vision if they switch to year-round classes. With the current class schedule, a student can take prerequisite classes in the fall and take the next class in the spring. This allows students to get ahead and by doing 1 year courses that would take 2 years to complete under the proposed schedule. Who can honestly say with a straight face that they think changing the schedule would be a good thing? Please listen to the parents, community members, teachers, employees, and who know that this would be a bad choice and will cause more harm to our students and their progress. Please do not change the schedule to year-long classes. Thank you.
The next three speakers are Carrie Finnegan, John Boyd, and Dave Kostal.
I would like to address the Orange County School Board and Superintendent Dr. Daniel Hornick. I am speaking on behalf of esteemed Band Director Tommy Doss. My name is Carrie Finnegan, and I have been employed with neighboring Albemarle County Schools as a teacher and director of orchestras for over 20 years, so I am very familiar with how other school districts may have handled the situation, which brings many of us here this evening, and what I would categorize as a minor administrative issue. How this administration has chosen to handle this minor issue is not only an inappropriate use of authority, but it's also dishonest on the part of many involved and far from the best interest of students, not to mention the lack of human decency shown to Mr. Doss during a trying time in his life. You will hear from many others on the effect Mr. Doss has had in the classroom, so I will focus my time this evening to raise awareness on how this administration could have handled this situation more appropriately, effectively, and fairly. The Virginia Department of Education provides a teacher performance improvement plan on which a teacher can be placed if there is something a school's administration feels needs to be addressed or improved. This requires a meeting with the teacher, the establishment of said plan in writing. Then the teacher would have an established timeline in which to meet established and specific goals, including numerous check-ins with an administrator. Then, and only then, would a teacher be deemed unsuitable for further employment. Has this basic process been executed? No. Mr. Doss has not been granted rights to an improvement plan as established by the VDOE. This highlights the ineptitude of not only the administration at Orange County High School, but also that of the Human Resources Department of Orange County Schools and the superintendent. The VDOE publications state that the benefits of an effective teacher evaluation system on teacher performance and student achievement are well documented. However, what is essential to recognize is that if an evaluation system is to have this type of positive impact, it is contingent upon the context and school climate in which the evaluation is implemented, the instructional leadership of the principal, the quality of feedback that teachers receive, and the extent of support for teachers to act on feedback in a manner that improves student learning. And that student learning and the experience of students should remain at the core of our focus as educators, something you will not find lacking in Mr. Doss's previous evaluations. Since Mr. Doss has been judged so harshly for one administrative attendance misstep after years of dedicated service and extraordinary instructional practices in the classroom, I ask you to ponder this. If asked by the VDOE to rate the quality of this administration's feedback and behavior towards Mr. Doss using the approved documents for a teacher performance improvement plan, how do you think they would score? In case you have never seen these documents, I provided them to you last night in an email. I think the teacher that was awarded the Do You Ever Leave Orange County High School Award in 2020 deserves a lot more respect than he has received this year by this administration. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is John Boyd. I'm the band director at Princess Anne High School in Virginia Beach. I've been at Princess Anne for 22 years, following 4 years of teaching in Maryland. I'm happy tonight to see so many Orange County kids here at the school board meeting. Kids, parents, and alums. Schools are one of our nation's great democratic institutions. That every kid that walks through that door is going to get a chance. We're going to teach everyone who walks through there regardless. And tonight, you get a chance to see the voice of the people in action. Obviously, as school board members, you aren't here because you want to hurt students or schools or the communities. You want to help. That's why you ran for it. And as you know, especially coming out of the pandemic, it can be a very taxing position, very taxing job. And you, the reason you ran for positions or the reason you accepted employment as a superintendent is because you want to help kids. You want to help the schools. You want to help the community. And as we learned through the pandemic, schools were demonstrably illustrated as being vital to these communities, to our communities, in ways we couldn't really fathom before the pandemic happened. Tommy is a vital part of Orange County High School. That's Tommy Doss I'm talking about, of course. He's a known presence in the community here in Orange and in Orange County. And our communities are in need of stabilizing factors, stabilizing forces in these days and age where we need to be more and more unified across our country. We build our tent on these pillars, and Tommy's one of these pillars in both this community and in the institution at Orange County High School. I know he was Teacher of the Year last year at Orange County, I believe in the district here in Virginia. and he's also national board certified, a national board certified teacher. My wife, who drove up here today with me, is one. I can tell you the amount of work that goes into that is incredible, and it's a very, very rare and distinguished accomplishment. Tommy represents Orange County across the state of Virginia, and when I say across the state of Virginia, please let the fact that I drove up from Virginia Beach today to talk be an example of a man that I respect tremendously, and the work that he's done here, and the work that his students have performed across the state, and the fact that he's got colleagues here from at least 4 different schools, to talk tonight on his behalf, should kind of demonstrate the level of respect that we have for him across the state. And I'll tell you, it's not just across the state, but it's across the country with the WGI performances in Dayton with their indoor group. And it's incredible to see the Proud to Be OC up there on the board. It's Tommy Doss. When I first met him, I knew nothing about Orange County High School or Orange County at all, and the fact that I know a lot about it now, and whenever I pass out on the highway, I'm like, oh yeah, Tommy Doss works there. Everyone in the state knows this area for Tommy Doss in the area of music education. I'd like you all to please consider that. Thank you.
Okay, I don't see Mr. Kostal, so we'll go to the next speakers are Stephanie Walters and Jason Hackworth.
Hi, good evening. Thank you all so much for hearing us today regarding the dismissal and hopeful reinstatement of Mr. Tommy Doss. Mine's going to be a little more personal level. I met Mr. Doss in 1997 on our high school marching band field. We both shared the same love for the marching arts and music, and we created bonds with our teacher and community that no other activity is able to give. We were lucky to be provided with a teacher that helped us build character and leadership skills. And Mr. Doss learned by example, and because of that, he became one of the best band directors, if not in the state, but in the country. All across America, Mr. Boyd had talked a little bit about the pandemic, but all across America right now, teachers are leaving their jobs because it's become almost unbearable. Since the pandemic, teachers do not feel supported as they once did. Here at Orange, Mr. Doss faced all those challenges, but still pushed to make this program and the school better every day through the arts. There are several music programs that have crumbled due to the lack of dedication in Virginia, but Mr. Doss stood strong, creating an environment where students could strive for excellence and be a part of something bigger than themselves. Every day, when talking to Mr. Doss, he was always working on something for Orange. The hours in which he puts into a career far surpasses other educators in the state, so much so that it's caused him to neglect his own health. I could go over the trophies and all the things that you all have won, and honestly, all the OC students, I wish you had worn all of your medals that you have for WGI. I wish you had filled this room with all of your trophies, because it would have made our hearts warm. Tommy and I have been teaching and consulting together for almost 20 years now. I love seeing all the familiar faces in here, truly love that, since I've helped him here for several years now. He's not only my colleague, but my mentor as well, even though he's only a year older, and one of my best friends that pushes me to always do better. I don't believe you'll truly understand how lucky this county is to have Tommy Doss. You will never find another committed hardworking band director. He makes all of us in the band world want to be better for the students that we teach and the communities that we support. If Tommy's not reinstated, the future of the program that he worked so hard to build will fall, and the students in the community will ultimately suffer. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you all tonight. My name is Jason Hackworth. I'm the director of bands at Charlottesville High School. I've just come, obviously, to speak about Tommy Doss. And I've been at Charlottesville for 11 years, and I've known Tommy for pretty much all of that time. During part of that time, I was the district rep, the instrumental rep, for about 5.5 years. And I'm going to talk mostly about the excellence, which I know you all recognize, that I see from Orange County High School band program, which has come mainly from Tommy Doss's direction and leadership. Tommy Doss consistently sends more kids to audition for All-State than any other school in our district. That includes my own. He constantly sends double-digit numbers worth of kids to audition for All-State. That is a massive accomplishment. He had 4 students, if I'm not mistaken, make All-State this year. There are only, from the band side of things, there are only 3 other schools that are smaller than 4A that accomplished that achievement. Most of those schools are 6A schools and 5A schools by VHSL standards. Orange County does amazing things with their band program that really are really unexplainable except for the hard work that Tommy Doss puts into the program. Tommy consistently brings a band to concert assessment, receiving superior ratings. He consistently brings a marching band to marching assessment and receives superior ratings. He was the only band in our entire district. He's the only school in our entire district that sent 2 ensembles to concert assessment this year, and both of those ensembles received superior ratings. No other school in our district did that. Our district runs from Amherst to Culpeper, and it has the counties alongside of it as well. I think the most important thing that we can take from this, Tommy loves Orange County High School Band. He loves the kids. He loves the program. He pours everything he has into this program. I don't know another band. I know a lot of band directors. I don't know any that work as hard as he does. There's a running joke amongst a handful of band directors in our district. It's just Tommy Doss works harder than you. I don't have to know who you are, but I know who Tommy Doss is, and I know he works harder than you. And that's just the way it goes. And like, the kids are laughing. It's funny because it's true. Right? I mean, he loves the program. He really should be a part of this program. Thank you for your time.
Is anyone else signed up, Ms. Byram?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Hearing at this time that no one else has signed up for public comment, I will declare public comment closed, and we will continue with the rest of the meeting. Dr. Hornick, I turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'm going to invite Heidi Lohr to come forward. Our first report this evening is regarding funding allocations for Head Start and Early Head Start.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Hornick. Here we go. Do you have a slide, or are you just going to leave it like
No,
that?
I just put everything there.
Okay, super. This year, the Head Start Association has given Orange County $145,134 to use for quality improvement and our cost of living adjustment. Head Start this year decided that Head Start teachers would get a 5.6% increase. I've worked with Mr. Honecker and Dr. Anderson to make sure that Head Start is funding that, so it does not have to come out of the county's budget. We know how tight things are all around. And so we needed a little over $150,000, but with extra monies we've received this year, we are able to give our Head Start teachers a 5.6. We're going to take all of this money, cost of living and quality improvement, and put it towards salaries this year, because that's where it's needed. So I'm seeking your approval tonight.
All right. Is there any questions of Ms. Lohr? Hearing
We're having
none.
technical difficulties over here.
Uh-oh. Did you need to ask a question, Melissa?
No, we were just discussing my computer, which is not acting correctly.
Oh, okay. All right. So if everyone is okay with going ahead, and I'll entertain a motion to go ahead and accept this.
I'll go ahead and make that motion that we accept it as presented by Ms. Lohr.
Okay, can I have a second?
A second.
Okay. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank
you,
you.
Ms. Lohr.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. This time I'm going to invite Doug Arnold to come forward. And we have some good news on the walkway connector front at Unionville and Lightfoot. Mr. Arnold.
Thank you, Dr. Hornick, Madam Chairman, members of the board.
Yes, it's my privilege tonight to present two contracts for the walkway connectors at Unionville and Lightfoot Elementary Schools. As you all may remember that were here at the time, the design documents for these connectors were completed in 2021, but the projects were not built at that time as the funding for the Unionville connector was needed to cover the effects of inflation on the Gordon Barber project, and the Lightfoot Elementary project had not been funded yet. These projects are now able to be funded via a portion of the state construction grant that we awarded in 2022. So requests for proposals for both projects were issued in early February of this year, and the bids were received on March 3rd. One bid was submitted for each project, but the bids were from Synchronized Construction Services of Orange, which besides being local and very capable of getting the work done, is also the same company that constructed the walkway connector at Orange Elementary, which, if you all have seen, has turned out very well. Given our positive experience with Synchronized, plus the continued inflation risk that would be incurred by postponing the project, and the increased safety, security, and climate control that will benefit our students, staff, and visitors if we move forward, we recommend board approval to proceed with these projects as soon as possible. Any questions or comments from the board?
I just asked, who is Synchronized Construction Company?
They're a local firm. They're based at the Silk Mill. President is Kent Higginbotham.
Okay. All right, board?
I'll make a motion. If everybody's okay?
You guys want to go ahead and approve this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion, please.
I move to approve the award of contract of the walkway connectors at UES and LES for the totals of $534,722 and $598,000.
Okay. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor by saying aye?
I just, is this the complete construction of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm ready to vote.
Okay. Everyone, either, I'll call for the vote. Yay? All ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Nays? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Arnold.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appreciate that. Next, I have Ms. Ayler come forward to discuss our local special education annual plan.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Hornick. Each year I come before you with our annual plan for special education. So this plan outlines how we will spend our federal funding, which is a small part of the funding for our students with disabilities here in Orange County. In the plan, we do document that the plan from 21-22 was implemented as written, and the assurances and provisions were met through the plan. There are two pots of money when it comes to federal funding for students with disabilities. The first is the 611 grant, which is called flow-through funds, and these are this money is used for students who are in kindergarten through the age of 22. And then the next one that I'll talk about are the 619 funds, which is our preschool grant. So each year, we don't have the final number yet for how much we will receive from the federal government for 611 grants. So we used the amount that we received this year. And that was a little over 1.1 million. Each year we discuss how are we going to use this money to fund students with disabilities, the services that they need. So we use our funding primarily for 14 special education staff, and this could be teachers, instructional assistants, or specialists. We also use a portion of our funding for contracted services such as vision services, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and also for a small piece for professional development for special education staff. There's a couple different breakdowns of that funding. One is CEIS, and those are coordinated early intervening services. And so that money we actually have designated to work with our youngest students to give them the services that they need primarily at the pre-K and kindergarten level so that they have we have a huge number of students coming through, especially since the pandemic, and this gives us an opportunity to really concentrate our services with our early learners. And then proportionate set aside, there is actually part of the funding in IDEA that we have to use for parents who opt to have their student with a disability attend a private school, and it would be a private school within Orange County or a homeschool, and they're offered services as well, so we have to set aside funding for that each year. The next is the preschool grant, the early childhood special education grant. It's much smaller. It's right around $30,000. We use that funding primarily for personnel services and benefits. We have a small amount that is used for purchase services, and that would include specialty evaluations that are needed for those individuals. We do have some funding set aside in our coordinated early intervening services, and currently we don't have any private school students in in our early childhood special education program, so we don't have to do a proportionate set aside for that. And we also use some of our funding for our Child Find activities, and what that is if there are doctor's offices, daycare centers, or parents who suspect their child may have a disability, we actually have Child Find a minimum of 3 times a month from August through July. And that's when we have students come in, we screen them, we talk about the parents' concerns, and then as a committee, they decide if we're going to move forward with an evaluation or not. We also have to meet maintenance of effort, which is set forth in IDEA, which has to do with our local obligation of our state and local funds, that we have to spend at least the same amount that we spent this year, next year, and we are on track to meet the maintenance of effort requirement. And then lastly, there is a small pot of money for the Central Virginia Regional Jail. We are required to offer special education services for any inmate aged 18 to 22 who had previously been identified as a student with a disability. They have to prove that they were enrolled in a public school, that they received services, and that they did not receive a regular diploma. So if they were still working toward a diploma, we would offer services. I will say we offer very small amount of services. Inmates at the Central Virginia Regional Jail come in and out so quickly. We barely have time to interview them to find out if they're eligible, and we need to move forward, and then they've left. So, but we are required to offer those services.
All right. Are there any questions of Ms. Ayler?
No, ma'am.
I'll entertain a motion then.
I make a motion we approve the special education annual plan for years 23 and 24.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Ayler.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Last here this evening, I'll give you a quick budget update, and Mr. Honaker as well is here as well, if needed. Through January and February, we rolled through a budget process where we identified a number of priorities, and then using calc tools that were produced at the state level at that time, we came forward with a proposed budget that you approved in February. After that time, a number of factors have complicated the issue. One, of course, being the well-documented error with the grocery tax hold harmless money that was not correctly inputted into the spreadsheet, and it was showing that school divisions across the Commonwealth were receiving and set to receive more funding than they actually were going to receive. Through the budget reconciliation process, the General Assembly has ensured that no school division will receive less funding for this school year. However, the calc tool error is not going to be rectified. It has been altered, and the amount that it impacted us here in Orange was well over $400,000. Which made some of our priorities, particularly with wanting to stave off the ESSER cliff as much as possible, and hopefully moving some of our ESSER-funded positions to local funding, it made that task much more difficult. Over the past few weeks, as I let the board know, the local government has signaled a funding amount that is to the tune of about $1.2 million less than what we were hoping for. And in addition to that, the General Assembly has left school divisions with what they're calling a substitute skinny budget. And on the 7th, so just this past Friday, the state finally came forward with a calc tool based on those numbers with the revised skinny budget. And so Mr. Honecker and I have to go back and work back through scenarios. This will absolutely mean cuts to some of our priorities, particularly positions, and it's also going to impact pay scales. And so I submit to you we would really like to meet with you all and have a major budget work session here in the super near future, hopefully maybe this upcoming Monday, so that we can present you with some of our new realities based on now that we actually have a calc tool to work from that came out just this past Friday, the 7th. And so that's the update that I have for you. And Madam Chair, if you work, we will, with board members, we can hopefully get that scheduled so that we can stay on a timeline. There will be time for the board and the public to digest a little bit of our new reality, so that way when we come to the May 1st meeting, hopefully we can bring forward to you an amended proposal based on the new state and local funding amounts that are proposed to come to Orange, and we can solidify a budget and make sure that we are able to get contracts ready to go and out to staff members, particularly before our 10-month employees leave for the summer.
Thank you, Dr. Hornick. All right, at this time, Mr. Hopkins, do you have a report from Governor's School?
Yes. For the people here, for the people that are here, I serve on a joint school board for the Blue Ridge Governor's School, and that school the school goes under an evaluation process every 6 years, and that just happened within the last month. Matter of fact, on Sunday, March 26th, there's a reception at the Blue Ridge Governor's School, and 4 evaluators came from around the state of Virginia to first to learn about what the program was on Sunday night. Then on Monday and Tuesday, they went out and visited the schools where the programs are placed. And then Wednesday, they got together and did a preliminary report. And the final report hasn't come out, but the director of the Blue Ridge Governor's School said that she got very positive feedback from those. So we were expecting to see that report of the Governor's School. Now, if you're not familiar with the Governor's School, this is our academic program for talented and gifted students in grade 9 to 12. We operate this program with 7 counties. And I'll just tell you the counties. We work with Greene, Fluvanna, Goochland, Louisa, Madison, and Nelson. And when I heard the group that we worked with, my first thought was, where's Culpeper and Spotsylvania? They're both in other governor's schools. I would say my personal opinion of why we're grouped the way we're grouped is because each one of these counties has one high school, and it makes it easy to divide up the work between everybody shares equally in that. And that concludes my report. The next board meeting for the virtual school will be on Wednesday, May 3rd, 1 o'clock at Zion's Crossroads.
Thank you, Mr. Hopkins. At this time, Mike, can we have closed session certification, please?
Yes, ma'am. Pursuant to 2.2-3711A of the Code of Virginia, the Orange County School Board will convene a closed meeting for the following: discussion of personnel or the performance of a division employee as authorized by Section 2.2-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia for resignation, termination, transfer, employment, salary adjustment, and retirement of employees.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. We're in closed session. Session certification, Mike.
All right. The board will convene its open session at this time. The following motion will be adopted, whereas the Orange County School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act. And whereas 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Orange County School Board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Anderson?
Aye.
Mr. Hopkins?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Page?
Aye.
Madam Chair, the clerk certifies the vote as follows: 4 yes votes, no votes, with 1 member absent. The resolution is approved by a 4-0 vote.
Thank you. Disposition of personnel actions, Dr. Hornick.
Yes, ma'am. We seek and I recommend approval of the personnel actions as presented in closed session.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion that we approve the personnel presented to the board during closed session.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Is there any other business? Hearing, oh, sorry.
May I wanted just to alert the board that we did have issues tonight with the live stream. So I put up a page pop so anybody that goes to the board site will understand that it was recorded, but we had technical difficulties with the live part. So it will be available as soon as they get it to me to post.
All right, thank you. Hearing nothing else, I will adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Soothsayer.